Hey, 10 reasons why Adderall would turn you into a failure. It will turn you, so the first one is it will turn you into an addict. That's the obvious first one. Well, you could argue that some people might not turn into an addict, and that, if you do it under the right circumstances with the doctor's supervision, yada, 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 bullshit, that's totally, we've all done it. Most of us have done it under doctor supervision. I had legitimately, like, was diagnosed with the Adderall, and I still turned into an addict. I still abused it. Again, this doesn't apply to, I think, a lot of people that are in their first years in the honeymoon phase of Adderall. They don't see the negatives yet. But wait, you see until a few years. It really starts getting bad after about 3 to 5 years. Once it starts wearing off and etc. So, so in 2012 alone, 116,000 people admitted themselves to rehab because of Adderall, and that's not including the meth heads that have gotten there, that started off with Adderall, because Adderall is a gateway drug to meth, and then also meth addicts sometimes will use Adderall to get the same high, but it's vice versa. So that's obviously addiction is the biggest risk here, and being in denial over that when we have such a crisis in the U.S. is just ridiculous. It's amazing how much hate I get in the comments. With my previous video, they're like, "Oh my, like you're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. You're not a doctor." Again, this is common sense stuff, guys. Like, just look at the addiction numbers. Just look at what Adderall does to people. Like, go on YouTube, look at stories. There's horror stories everywhere related to Adderall. The amount of suffering and pain that it took me to come out of it is unimaginable. Like, I can't even explain it in a short video. So the second one is sleep disturbance. So you're going to have the most bizarre sleep patterns. You're going to turn into a vampire. It's going to affect everyone differently. But sadly, some doctors will even prescribe to you, will turn you into a double addict. They'll prescribe to you things like Xanax and sleeping pills to help you curve that out. So then you're like, okay, well, now let's double down on the stupidity. So yeah, I've done Xanax, so because after the Adderall, I take Xanax to sleep, but then really Xanax is not good sleep either. I heard it's like sleeping like you're on alcohol. So yeah, that's what I was doing at some point. But yes, it will mess up your sleep pattern. You will become either a vampire or sleep very little, and that's also sometimes the reason why you'll start wanting to do more Adderall because you're very tired. So at some point, I would like take more pills so that I can, like, push through the fatigue. Three, obviously the cardiac part. You probably heard of this. You probably have heard of this before, but the New England Journal of Medicine came shows that the use of prescription stimulant was associated with a 1.4 fold increased risk of serious cardiovascular events like heart attack, stroke, sudden cardiac death. And again, 1.4 fold increase is probably, you would say, oh, it's small, but once you add that with all the other events in your life, it adds up. And it's just why add that risk in your life? So the mental health effects, right? So this is a part that I was like also really suffering a lot, which is like I had a lot more anxiety. Sometimes you'll have episodes of psychosis, like you'll have the depression goes up. Um, it's actually really like you feel it really damaged, like the depression anxiety part really increases, and you could really feel it. And again, people who's used it for a few months or whatever, please, your comments are not, you're in the honeymoon phase, like you're not probably feeling all these things. The physical health decline, like that's a big one also. um, like nutritional deficiency, weight loss sometimes. Well, I heard some, it does gives people anorexia. I didn't have problems with weight as much, but I did have a lot more headaches, tremors, like problems in the stomach, like gastrointestinal issues, definitely. And yeah, so and of course nutritional deficiencies is another one. Yeah. Then this one, of course, this is the one that leads to, this is the catalyst to ruining everything for you and getting you really to the danger zone, and that's the tolerance. It's all fun and games until your body builds serious tolerance and you start increasing your dosage. That's when you start passing the honeymoon phase. That's when you start getting on the journey of serious suffering in life. I started off with, I think, 10 milligrams, and I would do 5, and that was like a ton for me. I was like even a little bit grinding from that. But then that became nothing. I went to 20 milligrams, to 30, to 40, and then I would do 40 every 4 hours. And then of course, come and then one day I figured that like you can actually get really high on it and enjoy it and tweak basically. So I would like binge and do 200, 300. Anyways, that's how you start. You know, you figure out that it can get you really, really high. And it's all readily available. So it's like, okay, well, you don't have to go to the street. You don't have to go to the streets to get it. You just, get it from the doctor. This one is also a really rough one. The crash. The crash is probably something you'll feel also in the beginning. It's horrendous. For me, it was really bad. It would feel like my whole soul would be sucked out. I would feel like nothing. I would look at like, yeah, friends will talk to me and I'll be like empty inside. I would like answer. I felt like a robot. I really didn't feel good about it. I was like, it was really the crash for me was like sometimes I'll go into massive depressions. Like the world will end, is gonna end. Like everything is bad. Like I will become the worst pessimist ever on these crashes, and it just spirals into many other issues during that 5 hours, 6 hours until you fall asleep or whatever. And of course also like you're because you're not sleeping, so the crash is like heavier because you're like basically like a maniac on the computer until 4 o'clock in the morning, overthinking shit, going on like just all kinds of really negative ideas and really deep depression. Yeah, this one is also, in my opinion, really bad, and I don't know why. This is the trade-off of like you're thinking you're productive, but actually you're not productive, and I call this one dumb focus, which is like you pop that Adderall, and then you start, boom, you just start fucking cranking work, and sometimes you crank work for the sake of cranking work, and then did you really do the important things? Because again, success in life, whether let's say you're an entrepreneur, an engineer, whatever, it's not to do, again, I can talk from that perspective, which is like, okay, I build products, okay, I right now I have my company. The things that get you to the next level are not the things that Adderall makes you do, right? So Adderall makes you do like to-do lists. It'll make me knock the to-do list quickly, answer emails, write a page that I need to write about, whatever it is, like writing, like tasks, like writing documentation, like solving these trivial issues in engineering, whatever. But where it gets, so yeah, you're cranking those really well. But that's not where like the big wins, let's say as an entrepreneur, is not coming from that. It's coming from a really good sales call. It's coming from a really well thought out creative idea, or like, and that doesn't come from just cranking like a dumb robot. And I'm trying to, yeah, like I'm trying to give a good example. Um, like now that I don't do Adderall anymore, right? Sometimes I have these days where I like maybe not as productive as Adderall days, but like the win is like way bigger. Like one really good sales call, like that changes everything to your company, right? I couldn't do that on Adderall. I didn't even want to get on calls with people. Like I was the literal worst salesperson on earth when I was doing Adderall because I just don't want to fucking talk to you. I'm antisocial on Adderall. So it doesn't make you focus on those big wins. You become really good at the little wins that are really over time. Like I wish I had like a date a sheet on like all the wins I've had, my to-do list on over Adderall. I probably like completed thousands of tasks, and like it didn't get me anywhere, honestly. This one is also a pretty big one. I think it reduces creativity. And again, creativity, in my opinion, is it's the factor that really helps you win big in life. And definitely, you're not creative on Adderall. You're just a cranker. You're just a dumb cranker, a robot that just cranks shit. And it's romantic at the beginning and shitty at the end. Nine, it prevents you from discovering who you really are, and that's a huge one, man. Like you become a robot that just does things every day, and you just get stuck in that doing loop every single day, and it doesn't make you think and look at the bigger picture. you're just a task ranker. So as a task ranker, you can't really figure something out. Like you can't really figure yourself out. Like maybe you enjoy doing making videos on YouTube. Maybe you enjoy. Maybe you could be a Twitch streamer. Maybe you could be. Maybe engineering is not your thing. Maybe you can get into painting. I don't know. Whatever it is, but like finding that natural progression in your life and that bigger picture. Adderall is a huge preventer of that because like it holds you back to finding that true you. And I know it sounds woo and corny, but yes, there is a true you. There is something that you're were brought to this planet to do and to do an amazing work at. I really believe that everyone has a actual superpower, and Adderall is the superpower preventer. It's like the superpower fuck up mechanism, whatever. So yeah, and this one is a bonus. This is the last one. The bonus is like this is a funny story. I had an interview. I call this one the weirdo stare. You turn into like this weirdo on it. The weirdo stare. So what is the weirdo stare? So I had this interview when I was early when I started Ratio my company. I was doing a Facebook interview because I was really broke and I was like, damn, I think I need to take a job. So I got recommended from actually an executive at Facebook to get the job. So I passed the first technical interview, and then the second interview was like when you interview with Facebook, you interview with the manager. It's like a culture kind of like just to figure out like it was like supposedly the person was I was supposed to work under. So I just interviewed with him, and I don't know why what came into my head, but I was like, I did a ton of Adderall before that interview, like a ton. And I was like, it was at my days where I was like right before me going to NA and like quitting the whole thing. But so I was like probably on like 80 milligrams. I don't know how much, but I was on a lot. And I get on the interview, and for me, I don't know what Adderall does to me, but like it first of all I become extremely antisocial and I do not want to talk to anybody. Like talking to me would scare the shit out of me, literally. Like if I saw a human being, a friend was like, hey, wanting to talk to me while I was an hour, I was like, oh, I would panic because I just want to be on my computer alone, you know. Anyways, he comes to me and he's like, so we start talking, and every question that he would ask me I would just stare. I would stare at him, and take about 30-40 seconds to respond because again I don't like responding. Well, take me for some reason my speech processing on Adderall was like very slow. I would like slowly respond, and basically I heard like yeah, they were not down. They didn't take me. In a way, it was good because I continued with the company, but still, imagine that was you and you really wanted that job. You would have failed that job because of it changes you. You're not really the person. People can't see the real person that you are. And I know this sounds woo, and again I struggled so much before taking Adderall. That's why I got to taking Adderall. But there's a natural way to do it, and I promise you that I will interview people. I'll bring people on board. I will show you myself how I do it, the exercises. But it's possible to do it naturally. All right, guys. See you later. Subscribe to me, please. Give me some love. Subscribe to me. All right, fellas. Bye.